I've spent the last 5 years of my life answering just one single question. I spent the first few years trying out businesses here and there, anything you can imagine. So maybe you see yourself in what I'm saying, because I see a lot of people around me just following trends. When they hear about dropshipping, they try to get into it, then they hear about a trading opportunity, so they try that too in turn, and so on. But that is the best way to never become rich. How do you want to get good at anything if you keep switching every single day? But if you really try hard in one field and it's your main focus 24/7, then obviously you'll make it. So think very hard about the business you choose, and after that, just stay disciplined, and you can be sure that the results will be obvious. But anyway, I'd barely grasped that. The promises around all those online businesses were too good to be true. Take dropshipping. I had solid skills to build a nice site. I was really good at content creation for marketing. Yet again, it was a failure. I couldn't be that bad though. There had to be something I hadn't got. So that idea obsessed me. And between 2 sets at the gym, around 2 in the morning, you know, when the gym is almost empty, I think that's when I got it. Most of these businesses required being top 1%. Top 1% in dropshipping. So people would choose your store over another one. Top 1%, so your TikTok gets 500,000 views and drives traffic to your e-commerce store. What I want you to understand is that the business you choose shouldn't be a fantasy business for entrepreneurs, but we as entrepreneurs can optimize a casual business, and that's what we'll see with the example of buying and reselling on Facebook Marketplace. It's literally dads and kids selling stuff to make a buck, so you can imagine that if we come in with the right mindset and the right methods, we'll stand out right away. So I started from zero and targeted the business that would help me get started, buying and reselling. But on what market? Because that determines a lot of our success. Like we saw, I needed a casual market where I could stand out. Facebook Marketplace, the #1 secondhand site in the world, a huge market, yet not very competitive. And for the product, I looked at several of them on the platform, and tech seemed to offer some really good opportunities, especially PCs and PC parts. Lucky for me, I already had a bit of knowledge about that niche, so all I had left to do then was test the market. My PC was really starting to get old, so I thought I'd upgrade it, but for free through buying and reselling. Basically, I was reselling a mid-range part from my PC for the best price possible, to buy that same part again, but high-end this time for the same price or sometimes less. To get into the details here, since you'll still need some knowledge in this business to really make it run properly, my PC was made up of a 10th generation i3 and a GTX 1050 Ti. Now obviously there are more components in a PC, but those two are really the main ones, the main components. So that PC had become a PC with a Ryzen 7 5800X and an RTX 3070 Ti without spending a single dollar. So yeah, in a month I tripled the value of my PC, going from an old PC to a high-end PC. The test was conclusive, there really was an opportunity. I just had to do the same, but this time to make money. So I took some money I'd put aside, and sure enough, my test checked out. As expected, the margins are huge since it's a second-hand market, so there aren't really any rules. Guys who don't know much about it sell products at prices that are way below the market price, and vice versa. You can resell that same product at a high price because it's easy to stand out from the rest. And by the next month, I'd already made over $1,000 in profit on more than $2,000 in sales. For the first time, I could actually live, I had money, and I was finally getting back on my feet. And yet even then, it was only the beginning. In the months that followed, I hit over $3,000 a month. That was the power of a realistic business. No bullshit luck factor, just work that shows in the amount at the end of the month. In practice, for this business, you need to focus on graphics cards and PCs. Then, in the graphics card niche, some are more or less interesting. I recommend, for example, the RTX 3070, which you can buy for $100 to $150 and resell for more than $200. Some Easy 2X that you can repeat regularly, given the amount of supply and demand there is on the market. But also PCs, since you'll find very interesting offers from people who don't really understand what is actually in their PC, and so they sell it at a much lower price. For example, I already bought a PC with an RX 6600 and a Ryzen 5 5500 for $200 that I was able to resell for $600, a basic 3X, just thanks to good buying and selling techniques. And I've got hundreds of examples like that. And that's what you see in the flipping course, specialized in the PC and PC parts niche on Facebook Marketplace, where I teach students to generate their first solid income with personalized support from me, with all the copy-paste techniques to generate your first income alongside your studies or your job. Alright, so let's say you start with $50. First, obviously, you'll need to pick a product. So here, I strongly recommend, I almost insist, because you won't find anything more worthwhile than buying an RTX 2060. It's a good entry-level NVIDIA graphics card with a supply and demand market that's good for us. So I recommend buying it for no more than $50 and reselling it for between $100 and $150. There, you'll make a solid double on your $50. And on the other hand, there really are cards you'll need to avoid. For example, don't do any buying and reselling of graphics cards below the RTX 2060, meaning the whole GTX range. And if you don't really understand what I'm saying, basically, as soon as the card says GTX on it, you don't buy it. Even the best GTX, the GTX 1080, because its market has completely crashed and it just isn't worth it at all anymore. You'll make $50 at most, and that's only if you even find a buyer, because now there's very little demand for GTX 1080s. They're old and people are mostly just getting rid of them, so you understand that. For flipping, graphics cards are generally the most interesting, but there are still opportunities with processors. Still, generally I recommend them less. You'll often make less profit, and on top of that, they're super annoying to test if you want to make sure they work right, whereas with graphics cards, there are no compatibility issues. You put them in your PC and that's it. Still, there are some processors that stand out, and on those we can make a small profit, like the Ryzen 7 5800X, which you need to buy for no more than $100 and then resell for over $150. I've been giving prices all along, but I've already had several comments about the purchase prices I give. Many people think those prices are impossible, which proves to me competition in this market isn't that strong. That's why I'll stress the importance of negotiation. Obviously, prices like that good for us, are almost never posted directly in a listing, but it's by talking with the seller that we get those prices. So yeah, at first it can be rare because it's hard, we're bad at it, but with work and putting in the effort, it'll quickly become common. And I know this video will make more than one person want to get started, so I have to make this clear. But watch out for scammers, we're looking for the best deals. So obviously, we can sometimes run into scams that'll make us lose a lot of time and a lot of money. To avoid getting scammed, it's pretty simple. If the seller asks you to go through PayPal, just run right away, it's a scam. If you're selling with shipping, get as much proof as possible, like videos and photos of the product in the box. Now that we've bought our product, we need to sell it for as much as possible and as fast as possible. To do that, obviously, you'll have to set a selling price. Basically, I advise adding 10% to what seems to be the market price. By the way, if you have questions or feel like you lack knowledge about PCs and components, feel free to join my Discord server, which will help you a lot with the knowledge side of this business, with people who will reply quickly. And if you want to go further and get a better start in this business, feel free to join the school program, where you'll find all the resources to blow up this business, with a community built around the program, and of course personalized coaching from me. Check it out if you're interested. There are student testimonials from people making over $2,000 a month at the top link. I've said from the start, don't be ashamed to get trained. I've done it my whole life, and most of my business time is investing in myself. Building your knowledge is the best way to succeed. No one is naturally born for business. So well, if you want to get rich, focus on one thing. When something works, don't look for something else that seems better. Improve what you're already doing. With PC flipping on Facebook Marketplace, I tried to scale it as much as possible and later even delegate it. But if you get really good at PC flipping, maybe you'll see yet another way to improve it. I don't know. Maybe create your own online resale store, or maybe even build your own brand. And personally, it was with that solid financial base generated by flipping that I was then able to launch bigger businesses, but again, realistic big businesses, not businesses you can scale to several million euros from zero. And I'm not saying it's not possible to succeed in them, but in the vast majority of cases, you'll just lose time or even money, since like I stressed, it's barely the top 1% that'll be successful in these businesses. So now, you know how to enter the world of entrepreneurship, generate your first income, and build solid capital. And I'm so grateful for what PC flipping on Facebook Marketplace brought me, introducing me to entrepreneurship and generating my first solid income. So this video and this course are really my way of showing my gratitude by helping as many people as possible earn their first income. And I thought it was such a shame to let so much knowledge go to waste. So putting it all into the course and helping motivated people is really important to me. Anyway, I hope you'll make the most of the course. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope it helped you discover a great opportunity. And I know that not everyone who saw this video is going to take action, and that's okay. It's the natural selection of business, but I sincerely hope that it will get some of you to take action. So if you want more content, be sure to like this video and subscribe. There are lots more videos like this coming. Same thing, if you have a question or whatever, don't hesitate. I reply to everyone in the comments, and I'll see you soon.